There are, well, hopefully, many videos still coming in the future. And much of what I am saying right now is stuff I have repeated before. But the importance is of a state of emergency with my own life. There is the fear of what was already starting to be told to me by my health case manager at the end of Donald Trump's first presidential election or presidency when he was our president. And what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing and things like Project 2025 have given me rise to have great fear for America. And as I've said, it has been about 7,000 years that those in control have been using religion, or in its earliest form, spirituality, to control the people. I can at least count back from what I can find now 7,000 years. That does not mean that it doesn't go further. It's just at this point, that's all the further that I can find a paper trail. For those in control have been manipulating the people for a multitude of reasons. Those in control, such as the one percenters, have been, in some essence, there is a handed down book manual of what they have been doing. Sports has been, and again, all the way back, has been the tool of distraction. They have been doing this for 7,000 years. There is a small video that I have on the US stock market that is quite alarming, and the person who was sharing that information is probably missing. There are only a few times where things like that have happened, where I have gotten information that I knew was something you didn't get very often. One of the things that I got about religion, the first real dose that kind of scared me about there being something other than taking things at face value. I took religion at face value for much of the first 30 years of my young adult to adult life. Sorry. I dedicated my life to the building, to the spreading, to the teachings, to the cultivating of life, and all of it. All of it. And then religious deconstruction happened about 6 years ago. And again, it's all the information of 34 years of my work. And there's a lot of things going on into this time with us. And I'm concerned because I'm seeing religion used yet again to control the people. And they're doing it so matter of fact. And here's a lot of the problem. And we're going to get to this. I'm going to try to walk us through this whole, and hopefully you're all going to see what I'm trying to teach you. Because there's a lot of pieces to this, okay? I've been at this a long time. I see the world and have analyzed and have understood, and there's just a lot of convergence here. I don't even know where to start and what's to make sense first, but it all is part of this equation. I've talked before about vertical and horizontal morality. Jesus being horizontal, the church being vertical. Vertical is a system of hierarchy. Let's pin this on a list. The Christian Bible has been changed some 31,000 changes and counting. As many of you may don't know, the Chinese have spent 10 years on a new Bible of their own, and it just released a publication, I think 2023, 2022, maybe before time's gone fast, but it feels like it may have been at the beginning of 2024. But it's new release, and It's much adulterated, like has been every time. I've made a lot of my thoughts known that I think because I know of truth and what can come positive, and also aware of the dangers of what modern day Christianity is doing, and that list and the intensity of that is building and feeding and creating a more fear for me, because I understand the problem and it's of the people. I don't I'm on a different level. Okay? I've been at this for 34 years. So I've been watching some laws be changed, even in Minnesota. 2015 was a big marker. I noticed there's a lot of things like that going on around. Fear and competition are not inherent human characteristics. They're not natural. They're not a thing of human instinct. They are a learned trait out of a negative consequence. But because they're not natural, fear and competition, they're not of God. They're of something that has been learned. Misogyny, add to this list. War, add to this list. All these hierarchy things, as I mentioned on the top. Competition at the root of, in order to have those, is not of God. It's not. Now, to know Jesus, from what I have been gathering, much can be found in Egypt, or not Egypt, Ethiopia, one of the only places that wasn't colonized to the extent like at the time when all the artifacts were being looted. But there's a lot of evidence now pointing to a lot of things of problematic nature. I will state, though, however, there was a lot of very, very smart people with photographic memories back in this day, and there was a lot of, I want to limit this video, but there's a lot of things that I'm discovering that is pretty triggering. And it comes back to this same sort of like doctrine of discovery, the biggest lie ever sold to the world, in the name of and from God's people, trying to convince the world that Jesus was white, essentially. And that's so funny. And again, a lot of this is repeat, but Jesus was a man of hair of wool. So the African descent, and the skin of bronze. Bronze is a spectacular color. Bronze is a Middle Eastern color in how we would define it then. But see, then we didn't have these races. They were just people, just shades of people. Literally, there was no, the only thing that sort of kept some of the same kind of people building to build that, so it created what looks like to us the same people, is the fact that they weren't mobile like we are now. So you did get to build up a sort of genetic pool of people that sort of looked similar in a similar area because they didn't travel much. It was it wasn't, and then to it wasn't like it is now. It wasn't until white people, and the Europeans that started to create this division. Division is up there with competition. It's not is not a natural. It's not natural. It's not a thing. Division is not a thing of God. So when I see everything that's going on in the world and how things are being manipulated, and Donald Trump has his own Bible now and has taken out stuff and put the Constitution in it, and has took things out of that are not they're in the Constitution. He took them out. They're not even part of his Bible. That's how much they have went right in front of you with their lies. And again, the poison in this is this competition, and the fact that we have stardom, that we give people that are, Hollywood stars or political highlights people, or even news media actors, because we give them such a platform and a voice, and just because they have more money, they must have more answers, that suddenly they're the voice. That is, again, back to competition and fear. That all gets rolled in together. Those are not things of God. Those, in fact, are a poison into a system of people. There's a philosophical, there is a master thesis of conversation to be said about all of this. A critical mind in a world that is creating short attention spans and taking the education out so that you find it harder. And as I've said before, when you're barely surviving, you don't have time for thriving. So the fact when they make it so you're barely making it, so you aren't in a thriving phase, which is where a person can create a rebellion, a group to respond, to fight, if you're barely surviving. This is all by design. They've been doing this for a long time. And I've picked up enough now that it's triggering. And I'm seeing these sort of indolent malice, toxic belief systems destroy my very life in my very town right now, which I'm sure a lot of you who thought I was posting this video that was going to be what this was about. But it's about everything that caused everything to happen in my life that has this week. And just to give one note about that was, I was supposed to attend a jury trial yesterday morning. That I went there to the court building. All the people, the jurors were pooled and, set apart. I was brought into the courtroom. The jurors are nobody's in there, just the legal teams, the court reporter, court administrator staff, the judge. And I'm unable to calm down. Just kind of doing like I'm full on and seeing like I'm having and it's this hand thing I've been doing, it's been something in the last week, because of the stress, it's sort of, I'm making this video telling I can pinpoint this. In the past week, this has been pretty significant, and in the past 24, 36 hours, it's been pretty big. Went grocery shopping today, started doing it, standing in line. So just kind of, and this kind of like, I'd noticed for the first time, really, like, that it was something that was different when this began about a year ago. And there's a video coming. I know it's the same one that I posted on Facebook. I'm going to post that here later. And this was like right before the jury trial. So some things have happened. But anyhow, I was dismissed because I was found, basically mentally unfit to stand trial. So, and I'm going to post that video on what's causing it. But basically everything that I have just presented in front of this video, because of the lies of the system, they have essentially done this to me. And there is a lot of things that are being done to people that has to do with lies in religion. And I intend to step by step show that in a series of 6 books that I've been working on for 34 years. And there's a lot of videos, there's a lot of content coming on all different kinds of YouTube channels. This is where I'm growing my hair, the beard, all this is for all this to tell the story. Well, I tell the story and I sell the books. So I'm a few years yet, but stuff is coming. It has been. It's talking, But now I wonder, what's going to happen? How quickly are people going to be silenced that are truth tellers to a system that is not what you think it is? People like me. And my plea is that there's a lot of people who are at the highest that may not realize what system they're part of. And there's a lot of serious conversations to be had. There is.